Hey, what's up everybody? This is Like It's 1985, and today we are going to take a look at the knockoff, oversized Transformers Age of Extinction Crosshairs figure. So here is the knockoff, and here is the original Hasbro version. Alright, so for the next comparison, let me bring in the Transformers Alternator Shock Blast, aka Shockwave. Alright, so looking at the differences between the knockoff and the original Hasbro version, one thing that's clearly noticed is that the fact that there are the windows and windshield are painted with a silver paint, as are the headlights, as opposed with the original Hasbro version. You can see it is translucent clear plastic for the windshield and windows, as well as for the headlights. So looking at the sides, you can see there is difference in the color of the rims. Looking at the Hasbro version versus the knockoff side by side here on the side of the car, you can see there's this black piece of plastic, which is where the trench coat attaches to. Well, there is not that on the knockoff, which means there is no trench coat for Crosshairs robot mode here with the knockoff. So there is that difference. Taking a look at the back here, you can see that the knockoff has the taillights painted with a silver paint, whereas the Hasbro does not. Also, the Hasbro version has the officially licensed Corvette symbol and logo there. The knockoff, of course, does not. As well as the shape of the grille on the knockoff is different from the Hasbro version, as you can see there. Alright, with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at the comparison in robot modes. So, of course, with the knockoff, everything is oversized, including the weapons. Here is the knockoff version. It's an exact replica of the Hasbro version on the bottom here, except for it's, as you can see, bigger. And then we have the two smaller weapons, and again you have the larger one here on top, being the knockoff, and the smaller one down below, being the Hasbro version. Looks like there are sculpting differences between the two, though, in this case. As you can see there. Alright, so here we have the Hasbro version and the knockoff version side by side in robot mode. You can see that the knockoff version is taller and bigger than the Hasbro version. Not to the extent that the knockoff drift was compared to the Hasbro drift, but nonetheless there is a size difference. Now, more interesting to point out is the fact that there is a different head sculpt here for the knockoff, as you can see there, compared to Hasbro's version. There is a difference in the arm articulation. Basically, with the knockoff, the arm actually has only one point of articulation here at the elbow, and it can't move side to side, so there is that limitation. So you have this big static piece of plastic there until you get to the elbow, and then you have articulation there. The other thing worth noting is the fact that the knockoff version does not have heels, whereas the Hasbro version here has the heels that fold out, as you can see there. Now, looking at the back, there is a difference in the terms of articulation. We can see here in the Hasbro version there is a joint right there between the black plastic and the clear plastic. There's a joint, whereas here there is no joint. So with the Hasbro version you have more posability with the back of the quote-unquote trench coat, whereas this is going to be straight down, because from this point on down there is no articulation, and there's barely articulation here. There's a joint of some sort there, but I feel that if I force it, it's going to break off. So there is that difference. Looking at the knees, no paint there on the Hasbro version, lots of silver paint there on the knockoff. So yeah, and of course I mentioned before there is the cape well, not the key, but the rubber section here on both sides. There is no rubber section on the Knockoff. So, pretty decent crosshairs. I'm not as pleased with this Knockoff as I was with the Knockoff AOE Drift, but it's nice to have a oversized crosshairs anyways. So there's the two, and you can see they both wield identical weapons, except for the fact that one's with the Knockoffs are larger, and there you go. So all in all, a decent Knockoff, but between the two I like the Drift Knockoff better, because it retains all the articulation and functionality, whereas the Knockoff crosshairs here, there's limited articulation as compared with the original, and limited functionality. So there you go, this has been my review of the Transformers Knockoff oversized crosshairs figure. Thank you so much for watching.